Alright guys, welcome to AC class. We're going to look at a couple of quick components. First of all, here are our lines. This is our high pressure line coming out of the compressor. I'm going to show you the compressor in a moment. This is our suction line going back to the compressor. Even with nothing running, we can tell because of the size. The smaller diameter is generally your higher line. Now it goes down here and actually goes in to the condenser. Now you really can't see the condenser because it's going to be inside the grill, inside there. Instead of seeing the radiator right away, what you're actually seeing in there is the condenser. That's all those fins, okay? Now, you see I have a high pressure sensor here, okay? And when we look at try to find out what type of system it is, we have back here an H block. And I can tell it's an H block because of that little top hat piece here, okay? That right there okay, that's going to be our low pressure service port. This here is going to be our high pressure service port. And if you look, you can tell again, there's a very big difference in the size. And down there is a Schrader valve. On this, you can also see at the very bottom there, that's a compressor, and it has a clutch on the front of it. All right, that way I can turn the air conditioning on and off. The pulley turns all the time with the engine, but the compressor clutch will come on when you turn it on. Now, I have a videographer assistant, so they're going to help me. All right, here, make sure you get me. This right here is a gauge set. This is how we actually check our refrigerant, see what the pressure in the system is. Okay, these are our ports to connect to our system. These are our service ports. We want the service ports closed. There's my low side pressure. That's my high side pressure. And this particular manifold set also has a sight glass. I can actually do service to the system using this yellow hose, and I could watch refrigerant go back and forth, whether I'm putting it into a container or I'm charging the system from somewhere. Now you'll get into how you service a system later. Key is, see how these stay closed? Unless you're doing a service, they stay closed. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to our ports and we're going to make our connections. Okay? Now, they will only fit a certain way because of the size. You pull the collar back and you, whoop, we got a leak. Let's try to fix that hose. All right, we'll try it again. Hopefully that was our only little bit of a leak. All right, notice it clips on. Now some of these, the best ones of these, have a knob here that you can hook this up, and it's called a no loss fitting. That way any refrigerant ends up in the line. And then we do the same thing. You don't have to see this exactly. We just do the same thing with the blue line to our low side port. Okay, so we know our ports are connected. What I want you to look at is if you look at the gauges, you will see they're exactly the same. That's because the engine's not running, the compressor's not on. Also, you'll see that they're pretty close to 100 degrees, which out here under the sun, it's not too far off of. Okay, it's probably about 85, 90 degrees out. So when you don't have anything running, a surefire sign of if you have a good charge is the gauges are the same and they match pretty close to ambient. If anything, I might have a little too much refrigerant. So I'm going to put this here. Now we're going to turn on the engine. We're going to turn on the air conditioning. My videographer is going to do her best to come over here and keep her eyes on the gauges when I come on. Low side gauge is around 35. The high side is just a little bit under 200, it's like 275 or 175, and it's 150. So when the compressor turns off, the low side starts dropping, the high side starts going up. Okay. Now, as the compressor keeps going, if anything, this system has a slight undercharge. Now, we would do a performance test if there were any concerns. What we would do is we would close the doors, roll up the windows, run the engine up to about 1500 RPM, and we put a thermometer in the middle of the dash, in the vents. And we want to see if the thermometer in the dash can get close to 30 or 40 degrees below the outside temperature. Now we have to have our AC system running at a max. Okay? In another video, we'll get into a lot of the problems that can be in an AC system. But first step, I wanted to give you guys an idea of what it looks like with a system running with pressures that are close to good. Maybe they're a little bit off, the low is a little high, the high side is a little low. That's indicative that I might be a little low on refrigerant in this truck. Okay? But it's not low enough for me to have a concern. So it's just something to be aware of. Alright, this is a starting video. We're going to do more of this together and we're going to work on this while we're together. But remember, you saw your high side line, you saw your low side line. We pointed to where the condenser is. We pointed to where the compressor is. We also talked about the H-block, which is our metering device. Alright guys, till the next video. Good stuff.